This is going to be our final interview from the 2009 U.S. Boat Show, Sailboat Show in Annapolis. This is On the Water Anarchy. Another first time at On the Water Anarchy is the excellent Gino Morrelli. How you doing, brother?
Pretty good.
Nice to meet you. Nice to see you. You know, we've been following you for as long as anyone could, as long as the site's been around, obviously. You're a legend in the field of going fast. And we're actually sitting aboard a new boat designed by you. Tell us about this boat that we're on.
This is a new Leopard 38 catamaran.
Okay.
And it's branded under the Sunsail brand as a Sunsail 384.
Okay.
But it's also available as a private owner version under the Leopard brand.
Got it.
Yeah, so they're buying lots of them, and they're going to be in their fleets all over the world here really quickly.
Now, when you design a boat like this that you know Mooring Sunsail is going to be involved in, are there a lot of things you're putting into it just for that charter market, or is it really a dual-purpose boat that can be used for charter if you're in the 4-stateroom layout or private owners? I mean, are there a lot of compromises, for instance?
For sure. It's a boat, so there's always compromises.
Right.
But the way we have to attack the problem is we actually start off thinking about it as a private boat, because the private owner always ends up with more junk on the boat than the charter does.
Sure.
So we have to compensate for the weight and the space for, water makers, gensets, the eventuality of bells and whistles, radar that the charter guy won't ever put on, or the charter company never wants. So we actually start on the private end, and then we modify it for the charter purpose, because it's actually simplified.
Got it. So what are some key features of this boat?
Well, the big deal is we're always trying to increase the shaded space. So every boat has gotten a bigger and bigger hardtop.
And I'll show you what I'm looking at over here is the hardtop goes all the way to the transom step, all the way to the house here.
Yeah.
It's probably, 12, 13 feet long.
Yeah, it's getting to be a pretty big piece of the boat.
And I guess I mean, we're all more sensitive to sun nowadays,
Exactly.
and it's too much effort to put sunblock on.
I've had a few chunks burned off.
I'm sure I'm not far behind you there.
Yeah.
So okay, so we got a lot of sheltered space, really comfortable, big area to eat.
Exactly.
What about performance?
Well, it's always especially this boat's 38 feet. It's like an 11 kind of ton. So it's not a Formula 40.
Right.
It's not Stars and Stripes. But what we try to do is still proportion it so it's at least a reasonably sailing boat. This boat we did as opposed to a 40-footer, which we did 5 years ago for him, is we've kind of straightened out the lines a little bit. It's got a little less rocker. It's got a little higher prismatic. We tried to make the boat a little bit more maneuverable, a little bit more agile. It's got a little bit bigger rig. It's a little bit more performance than our previous boat. And the informal race that we've had between this and the 40 in Cape Town a couple of weeks ago is this boat does seem faster. So 38 foot versus the 40 foot. So that was one of the prerequisites that the Sunsail side of the boat, or Sunsail side of the company needed, was a little bit more performance.
Sure.
A little less luxury.
Well, look, at the end of the day, you go down to the Virgin Islands, there are a lot of really slow catamarans down there.
Yeah, houses, condos.
Really slow.
Yeah.
Scary slow.
Yeah.
And that's not what you love to design.
No, and that's, I think, why they brought us in, is we always have creative conflict in any of these projects,
Sure.
right? The Robertson King has issues, Moorings has issues, Sunsail has issues, we've got issues. And so trying to make sure all this kind of works together is our job, really. And hopefully we've got a good compromise here, because we want a boat that's still fun to sail.
Got it. All right. So check out moorings.com, learn about the 384, charter it. I'd like to charter one for my wife and my sister and brother-in-law.
We've done the last 2 Christmases in Tortola on the 40, and it's just
a nice way to do it.
Disneyland for adults. I love it.
All right, let's turn to some more performance. I have a couple things I really want to talk to you about for a long time now, and I probably just should have called you, but this is a great environment. So the first question is this: I've noticed something, I think, in the last year since the catamarans were tossed in the Olympics. I've noticed that the cat classes out there, the small, fast cats especially, the X40s, they're doing a really good job of growing.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that?
Well, we've seen some of the tornado guys, the hardcore guys, are filtering back into the fleets. And it's kind of upping the game in like F-18 especially. And I think that's kind of helped reseed some of that skill and that intensity back into the fleets, and maybe that explains your renaissance.
I tell you, I mean, I love it. We love to see it. We love to sail them. We love to race them. And you know, maybe there are people that said for years we don't want our boat in the Olympics. It's going to kill the boat.
Yeah.
This is sort of it's sort of proving it a little bit. I mean, it's a little early to tell, but
yeah. Yeah, it's cyclic too. You know, we've had a real long-term downside of beach cat sailing, and the Euros have been keeping it up for a long time. But now it's actually kind of coming back in the States. You know, A-cats have kind of done a little bit of it.
they're doing great. Yeah.
F-18s. You know, our F-18 with NACRA won the Worlds again this year. You know, that all kind of helps build some momentum.
You designed the infusion, yeah?
Yeah, the infusion's ours. In fact, we built that in our shop in Santa Ana. We built the protos and the plugs and the...
Right on.
That was an in-house Morrelli Melvin deal.
Right on.
And
what
we passed it to those guys.
What do you think of the F-18 class? I mean, the new Wildcat just came out. It's, I mean, it had 100 and whatever people at Worlds, and it really is a fierce class, you know?
Yeah, yeah. No, it's tough at the top, for sure. It's tough at the top, yeah.
Who do you think the best F-18 sailor is?
Well, you know, Bundy was probably, you know, really one of the best for sure.
Yeah.
But there's a couple of the Dutch guys are pretty darn good.
Misha.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move to another thing, and actually this is a bit of a segue. Do you think that the America's Cup situation has had an effect on the catamaran sailors and sort of the interest in catamaran sailing, multi-hull sailing in general?
I doubt it. I think it's too tied up in court. It's just got too convoluted to follow. I think it's kind of everyone's, you know, maybe in the back of their mind they have some sort of history or feeling. Like sitting here at the boat show, 90% have no clue. They don't even know it's a cat versus try. It's just tied up in court.
But I think if you talk to 90% of the F-18 sailors, they would all know about it.
Oh, yeah, for sure the F-18 guys know, because they know a bunch of the players are involved, you know, they know us, they know that kind of thing. But the general big multi-hull world now, the small beach cat guys, they're more clued out. They read Sailing Anarchy.
Well, let's move to a little deeper into the Cup. What is exciting to you about this coming match?
Well, it's... You know, it's War of the Worlds to a certain extent. You know, if we get to the damn water, you know, for us it's a huge technological thing. You know, we get to be exposed to some really high-end guys, some really good FDA.
And you're working with BMW as a consultant, correct?
Yeah. You know, we can't say a whole lot about what we do.
Understood.
But we got brought in late. You know, got to do some fun things. Pete sails on the boat pretty regularly now. I think he spent all last week down there. We've done a ton of work for him on individual components, little things here and there, so that's cool. The bigger picture is whether the cat versus the tri thing generates enough interest to sustain some sort of migration to multi-hulls in the next go-around. I mean, obviously we've designed multi-hulls. I mean, nothing could be better than for the smoke to clear, but everyone decide,
let's stay in
that
multi-hulls.
was still cool. You know, 80 knot closing speeds downwind was cool. That, you know, I don't care if they, you know, are competitive or not between each other. I think just some of the visuals, if they're filmed right and out in the public
you're dead right.
Just, you know, 80 knot closing speeds downwind with these massive boats flying hulls, you know, that's an image.
With teams with helmets on, and I mean that is the image. That's NASCAR, baby.
It's J-boat. You know, it's Back to the Future.
It's J-boat at 4 times the speed.
Exactly. And I think that's the intensity, the technological intensity that might penetrate just enough into the media that the media will help kind of sell the idea that it's got to stay fast, it's got to stay exciting. Because if we go back to an IACC,
I guarantee you, if that happens, I will run a video every day from this multi-hull challenge, and then I'll run a video from the IACC event. I'll just put them right next to each other so everyone just can see.
Well, you know, you've seen that gunboat
with the Carrera or whatever it is. Yeah. Did you designed the gunboat too? Didn't you?
Yeah, they're ours.
Wonderful boats, and they're doing really well. We hear. We just talked to Rachel, and she said they're doing really well.
Yeah, she's around here, right?
She is. Yeah, she's here. We're just gonna stop for 1 second.